Let's go.
Five, four, three, two.
Are you guys ready up there? Okay, just give me a second. All right. All right, quiet on the set.
Ow! Peace and blessings of the Most High, the balance, omniverses, multiverses, tri-verses, dual verses, and universes be upon you all in earshot and eye shot of the God. It's your friendly neighborhood Pharaoh Rise and Chef C's Dwamutef Moon, and welcome to another episode of Revision Radio, where we seek, analyze, and break down right knowledge, right wisdom, right understanding, right thinking, right reason, and right action from the third eye point of view. What's happening with the family? Peace and blessings. Rahubat, Kabad Washuk. Woman Wapians out there. And Assalamu alaikum with magic to all my namas. Today we have a beautiful show on the comeback. Off the alley-oop. Off the comeback. Y'all seen the title, man. We about to get in some things, man. I'm about to hit the brothers up and send them some stuff. To the Gmail. Let me see. Let me see what the God info. Yeah, how y'all doing? What's happening? Thank you for everybody joining me this early. You know, I've been MIA for a minute. We'll get into it. We'll get into everything. You know. Boing. Message sent. We on our way. Y'all heard some of that good old energy I was popping out. Somebody hit the peoples on the let them know it's about to go down. So tonight we're gonna go over and unpack the book Lightning from the East. This is actually like a good request, and I'm glad it happened. You know, what's today's date? The 6th. You know what we do in the beginning of these things. We're gonna set it off the right way. What's today? 26. Boom. Okay. We're gonna set it off with the revolutionary daily thoughts for this date, and then we're gonna set it off with a daily word from the Maku. Y'all hear me? What's up, man? Let me see. What my chat looking like? Say what you got to say. Get it off your chest. What the chat looking like? Ow. Divine Peace. George Prestel. What's up, God? Peace. Tashana Bryan. Appreciate you guys. Okay, chat room is up and going. Yeah, we got some things, man. We got some things lined up. Y'all know how I be doing. So let's set it off with the preliminaries. November 26th, the love that we exchange, let it last forever. Let love inspire, encourage, strengthen, and nurture us. Queen Afua says, after our vision has been claimed and made a mission without rival, after our truest talents are revealed through an honest striving for independence, after our differences are understood as complementary and not oppositional forces, after our imperfections are discovered and neutralized, And growth does not induce chaos after our bodies know each other and want has matured into need, after our children have multiplied far beyond our immediate genes, after our wealth becomes the family we keep in thought, word, and deed, after we continue moving in the way of the warriors, healers, even as peers retire in defeat, after we measure among the true elders being asked permission to speak, only after we know each other. In this way does love come. We affirm, I love my compliment. That was from the goddess Queen of Four, to heal thyself. She been on the front lines with healing and making brothers and sisters whole for 20, 30 years? She don't look like it. She don't look like it. Okay. Don't. The goddess is gorgeous. Tell her I said it. And now she got her son. Shout out to her son, Nova. And yeah, shout out to Nova. And he has a Man Heal Thyself book also that's out with the peoples. Yeah. So that was beautiful. Let's see what Baba says, what Chief Maku Thunderbird Black Eagle says to compliment that. Telling the guard to check the email for the link. Yeah. All right, November again, 26. Let's go. Anybody know somebody? Put the word out. Tell the peoples. Going on the lines. All of the Nuwapian groups, all these telegrams and all that other stuff. Telegrams, LinkedIn. What's the joint they be on nowadays? Everybody back on the party line. What they call it now? Yeah. Because listen, this is just so the people know. This is directly coming, from the. Let me hit Irish and let them know what's going down. Yeah, this is coming from the chambers. All right, cool. I don't know about that. I see what's up. Yeah, so hold on, let me finish my train of thought. Let's get this with November 26th. Yo, I'm excited to be here with the peoples, man. We've been, a lot of work been going on, a lot of work, y'all. We're making matter move. So this is what Doc said. This is what Chief Black Thunderbird Eagle said. Compliment on what Queen Afua said for the 26th. He said, stop looking at people. Look into them. There you will find true beauty. Stop looking at people. Look into them. Stop looking at the surface. Cut it out. Stop looking at the surface. Oh, y'all ain't see. I'm acting up. I don't want to hear nothing. I'm acting up. Yo, what's up? What y'all been up to? Salute. Iris, yeah, I send you the link. Let me send it from here. I send it from the my phone. I can't send it from over there. Yeah, we got company. Yeah, buddy. The guard is popped in. Hold up. My peoples is here. Hold up. Share the copy link. There we go. All right. God, you about to get in. You ready? Let me see. Yeah, you ready to go? All right, let me make sure we good. We gravy. All right. So without further ado, yo, Zamal, peace, beloved. What's up, God? All right. About to add the God KHONSU to the stream. We about to get it going. Appreciate the God for coming through. Y'all ready? Gladiators ready? Warriors ready? We about to get it in. Let's see how this thing go. Peace, God. What's happening?
Rahul back. Peace.
What's happening with you, beloved?
All is well, my brother. All is well.
Excellent day. Glad to hear that. Glad you could join us. We appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I see you done moved out there in the boonies. Listen, it's COVID. I already know. You need to get places where it's least amount of people.
That's right.
That's a smart move. It's not a bad move. It's a smart move. Yeah, God. So today, man, listen, I got direct line from the inner circles, you know, people that's talking to the master on a regular basis, and they read your book. He read your book. And he loves the book. He's advised everybody to get the book to support. So the book we're talking about is Lightning from the East, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, Lightning from the East. And you yourself, thank you very much. That's fire. There you go, Lightning from the East. And there's a forward in there, right? By that you got in there, right?
That's right.
Yeah. The forward is
and then it's different. It's a few different versions. We got this is the Wu Sabat edition. Of course, you can see the beautiful illustration, the beautiful cover.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you got the original with the Universal Yoruba Nation.
Yeah, flag and whatnot on it. That's the brother TAHARQA. The brother TAHARQA, correct?
Yes, TAHARQA. The brother TAHARQA is he's gonna be able to make it, but he may be late. He's in a different time zone overseas and stuff.
I could dig it, man. You know, this was like, you know, moving and hopefully it's just the first of many in clarification, because it's really about, you know, with the master and putting the information out there to let the people know about the conspiracy, the strategies and the things that were used, because what came from the brothers and sisters that the master was emphasizing, that he said y'all was spot on, was the conspiracy. He was like, y'all was spot on. He loved it. He was like, get this information out. To the point where it's like, look, he's like, right now, don't even worry about, you know what I'm saying? Let's have a concentrated effort, a collective effort on this subject matter. He's like, don't worry, he's coming home. We got that. Like that's, he got back channel things happening. You know, some people know, some people don't. That is what it is, whatever it is. But this is where he wants us to focus on. So I'm like, I got the platform. Right. I ain't been in a mix like that. You know, I just had a newborn. So, you know, that kind of recalibrates everything.
Congratulations.
To prioritize. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Yeah, the guy, he 90 days right now. He the boss.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. He the boss.
Wow, amazing.
So I had to recalibrate things, you dig? So
that's right. That's
I
right.
I want to know,
family
like,
first.
Before, huh?
I said family first.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is still part of that. This is still Muisar. That's still your sauce. Right. So right. Give me the breakdown as far as the journey. You know, if you want to say something for the brother TAHARQA, you want to brave into, and then he just pick up when he jump in. That's all cool. So just the journey. What motivated this project? You know, what motivated it? You know, outside of the obvious, to give like the details, because there were other books done beforehand, right? Dealing with similar subject matters, you know, from throughout the years. I know the kidnapping of Dr. York, the many faces, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, then now you came to the lightning from the East, but then it was like you said, different editions, you know, because there's also one that he got the turban on, the Ansar.
That's right. It's the Ansar version too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
I see, you know what I mean? And you got the forward by Prodigy in there too, which is a blessing. You know, may the ancestors guide him. So yeah, give us a breakdown on like what that process was, the researching, you know, what he did, the struggles, the obstacles, and things of that nature. Also.
Okay. That's a really good question, Zamal. First and foremost, I'm Brother KHONSU and AMUN-RE, student teacher, the master teacher, Dr. Malachi York, and also co-contributor, co-researcher, co-author of The Lightning from the East, which is the biography of Dr. York. It's basically, that's basically what it is.
Biography.
It's a biography. It details his whole life from his birth, his parents, his blood lineage, his whole family history, the history of his movement, the different stages of growth of his movement, on down until all of his success from the transition from upstate New York down to Edenton, Georgia,
That's right.
on into the kidnapping of Dr. York, the conspiracy, the case of Dr. York, on into now what's going on right now. And it's addressing the slander and a lot of the misconceptions, the backbiting, the gossiping, and a lot of the bad negative media publicity, the lies, the outright lies in regards to the case. Now, the first version, I actually happen to have a copy.
So, yeah, so we consider The Man of Many Faces the first version of the.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
The Man of Many Faces is the first version of Lightning from the East.
Okay. Cool.
All right. The Man of Many Faces was originally published.
That's right.
Harare, Zimbabwe, Accra, Ghana, Lagos, Nigeria, Monrovia, Liberia. This book was originally published in Africa first. Before it even came to the United States. Iceberg Publishing is an African publishing company. A lot of people don't know that.
That makes sense from the name. That's the Krista. Yeah,
Yvonne
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense now. That makes sense with the name. Okay, Yvonne Christensen. That's right.
See, and it's two parts. This is the second one, but you got Yvonne Christensen and Olafemi Olatula. ADAFA TAHARQA. ADAFA Nimrud AMUN-RE is the same as the ADAFA TAHARQA Nicole. That's the same person.
Yes.
The same person as this right here.
Got you.
ADAFA TAHARQA Nimrud Nicole L.
Is that also Olu is another attribute?
Olu, same person.
Because that's what we friends on Facebook as Olu.
Right.
So that's when I seen the name. I was like, hold on. I know the brother. Like,
same person.
Yeah, I got you.
And it's just a variation of the different schools of thought. The same way we have different names. When we was in the Ansar school, we had Arabic name. When we was in the Sumerian school, we had the L. And when we went to AEO, now we got Kemet, Egyptian.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. That's right. So that's the same. So that's a good. So the point is, it started with Man of Many Faces, right? Now,
okay.
During the time that Man of Many Faces was originally released, it was a lot of, it was still in the beginning stages of the master teacher's incarceration. There was a lot of stuff going on that kind of prohibited the growth of the biography at that time, right? So it kind of took a back seat. But while it was taking a back seat, brother, and shout out to the University of Ruben Nation, brother ADAFA talking to Kohe, he should be joining us soon. But while that was happening, he was still archiving and recording literally everything. You see what I'm saying? As it was taking place, just sitting in the background, patiently, quietly, and observing and recording our history, because the power of the book is literally the history of the Nuwapi or Sabian nation. It's the history of the whole teachings. It's the history of our teacher. It's the history of our entire science, our entire doctrine. And while he was doing that, he was collecting data, collecting information, but also looking for things or people that was going on that was keeping the teachings alive, so to speak.
Got you.
and also paying close attention to the details of this case and the slander and the negative media publicity surrounding the case. Because at that time, you know, you had a lot of ex-Nuwapians, your Chuck Morgans, your Tarnoons, your Noonan, all these people who were launching these campaigns of hate and slander against the master teacher and against Nuwapians and Sabians. And the brother ADAFA was always a debater. You know, he's an old school Ansar. So he used to be on, you know, his father was an Ansar back in the London tab, but he's Nigerian, you know, Nigerian by nationality, by bloodline, but his parents just go back to the Ansars in London. So he used to being out on the streets, on the, you know, tabliging, you know, he used to being in the mix. So he was
about the life. He about this life. This is what
that's right. That's right.
I got you. He about this life.
Yeah. So when he came across me, he seen that I was going against the slanderers and stuff. Yeah. And he was like, man, you know, he saw something in me and he said, hey, I want to reach out. I'm working on a part 2 to the Dr. York biography. I want to reach out. And ever since then, you know, that's how Lightning from the East came about. And the beauty of it is it's giving you everything the Man of Many Faces gave you, but it's also giving you up to the same way the master teacher always upgraded the information. You know, as we went through the
it's alive, it's organic, so it's going to keep growing with life. That's real. Right. Yeah, that's I got you.
And so the Lightning from the East details all of that. Plus, like I say, it addresses the slander and the negative media publicity.
Yeah,
and, that's what we aim. That's our most important goal, is to get the negative media publicity, to set the record straight, and to, you know, that's our number one priority.
Okay, so now building on from that, that's an excellent you know, prelude and breakdown to give us how everything started coming together. Why? Because even the idea of looking at Man of Many Faces as the first version, knowing that the brother was a part of that project also. So within this book specific, let's focus this part of the discourse on Yaqub and Seals, because it's so many different versions of the story dealing with them specifically, because you have some even like those slanderers, the Morgan, the Noonie Know Nothings and all them, and they'll be like, yo, there's nothing about Jacob in nothing, you know what I'm saying, in here. There's nothing about him in the case. But I remember reading Seals talking about Jacob, Jacob came to him and all that. But it's not really popular like that. A lot of people don't talk about that part. And then and not too long ago, and on TAHARQA Bay's show, when Baba's daughters was up there, one of them, she she was talking about how Jacob actually had a meeting with all of Bob's children in Brooklyn even before they went out there to Georgia and Miami and all that stuff. So I didn't never hear that before. She was like, that's with his kids in Brooklyn. So I want to open up that can of worms, right? And the whole Sheriff Seals and Jacob York, and do y'all cover them in the book? Like,
great question. And yes, and yes. And
cool.
Let me find that chapter just to show, because that's important. And you're right, a lot of people for years said that the Nuwabians had this crazy conspiracy theory.
That's what they say,
that Jacob York has something to do with his father's demise. And they said, oh, it's nothing. It can't be proven. It's nothing in the case files. It's just a crazy Nuwapian conspiracy theory. That's literally what they called it.
That's what they call it.
And actually, we have detailed account from Sheriff Seals himself, who says that it was Jacob York who brought the first witness to the FBI headquarters and to him.
Mm.
And for years, Chuck Morgan would say there's no connection at all, and blah, 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 and have nothing to do with it. And in the back of the book, we have a direct contradiction. This is page 528.
528. Okay, page 528 in the book.
And it says the bottom is the FBI had no involvement with the case against York. This is where we're addressing point for point some of the lies and
Talk about Chuck
contradictions
Morgan, lies, fault. Yeah, got you.
Right, and we did a point for point rebuttal.
I love it.
Point rebuttal.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
And he says, it says inaccurate and blatantly dishonest claims made by Chuck Morgan has been his insistence that the FBI never played any part or had any involvement in the case against the Nuwaubian leader. It says, but on the 1st of October, 2018, Chuck Morgan appeared as a guest on Sonetter's popular YouTube Black News 101 on a show entitled Chuck Morgan, When Two Worlds Collide Are the Teachings of Dr. Malachi Z. York Pseudo. Hosted by Sonetter. And that's the beauty of this book. It's up to date.
That's real.
You see, it's up to date. It says, during the show, Chuck Morgan lied to the public by making the complete bogus assertion that the FBI did not have anything to do involving the Nuwaubian leader's case or trial as a way to erode the public sympathy for the Nuwaubian leader, which is a tactic employed by someone who is an agent aimed at spreading misinformation or disinformation. Right. It says this claim was made by Morgan to purposely negate any notion that York's conviction may have in any way been orchestrated by the government, thereby deflecting public opinion away from supporting the imprisoned Nuwaubian leader.
That's right. That's right.
You see, that's the purpose. Then it says, he says, then it goes on to say York's legal name is Dwight, etc., etc. But in the chapter right here, where we have a whole chapter on seals, and this was in the interview that the recent People's Magazine.
Okay, that documentary piece, right? Yeah.
Right. That is in that part. That's what Sheriff Seals mentioned Jacob York by name.
On that documentary, he did that?
Yes.
That's crazy. That's the one when they talk about Nicole and them was a part of.
That's right. And shout out to the brother who wrote the book. He got a book out called The Truth, Don Vito Harold H. Long. His book is a small book, but his book entails specifically that People's Magazine that cults.
So he was directly dealing with that and
yes.
And going to the contradictions and the lies that they were telling.
Yeah, I'll drop the link to that in the comments section.
I was going to say, please do. Please put the link in the comments. It's funny you said that because this is my position. It's something I brought to the people, the family. I'm starting to put it out again. When they talk about Dr. York as a molester, when they talk about him, even with the Mann Act, the idea of driving with children and crossing state lines, when they do this in these platforms, they should be held liable, character assassination, slander. It's all illegal and unlawful because none of those things are true.
That's right.
Like literally.
That's right.
Like there is even a federal case against him does not say anything about molestation. There's no molestation charge in the federal, system. So when they try to hit him with the Mann Act, they talk about him traveling across state lines. There's no evidence of any of these people, so-called, any of their children, so-called, because it's hardly, you don't see no children. But none of them was in the car with him going out there. They were all with their own families going out to Georgia. So it's like, it doesn't fit the bill, So we know that these people is the kangaroo court. They were concocting and putting things together in order to and it was coming from every angle. And
that's right.
And we were definitely blind. We wasn't ready. We wasn't ready. Look, it's 20 years later, and we just getting our bearings to get to now reaffirm and come at him the right way. So so Seals spoke of Jacob as the person who brought the first witness to him, and the brother in the truth. He got that information in there from that Time Life slander campaign.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
That's all it was.
That's pretty much what it was. And we have that detail. We have a whole chapter in the book. Chapter 16.
Conspirators. Yeah, I see it. Let me give you yeah. Ex-followers, haters, distractors. Yeah. Larry. Yeah, I call him Little Sweet. Garfield is beef patty and cocoa bread. Yeah. yeah, I'm on him.
and see, here's the thing, right? Hold on, let me get back to this. And here's the thing. On page 381.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is where we come in to show and prove. And believe it or not, brother, we got a whole another book coming out. The University of Reuben Nation is putting out a whole nother book based strictly on the Jacob York conspiracy. Based strictly that's because there's more to it. It's a lot more to it.
Yeah, you know what? I knew it was more. I knew it was more to that when I started hearing Chris Brown talking about him, and then I heard.
Thank you.
Then I heard Gucci Man talking about him. Then I seen.
That's right.
I seen some dudes, some rappers from Alabama, and they was like, whenever the dude pops up, they literally everybody spread out. They was like, yo, the police is here, and everybody went running. And it was Jacob that was coming up on the scene. And I seen that. I was like, whoa, like, so they already know that makes sense because that's why he moved out of the music and into the movie stuff because he can't really get no play in the music because everybody know he federally. You know what I'm saying?
He burnt his bridges. He burnt his he it's only you can only lie so much to where it just becomes blatant. You know. And for years he lied and he said that he didn't have nothing to do with his father's case. And that's because that man has been protected by a long time for by who.
Absolutely. The Alphabet
Boys been protected. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. And then he was running around at one point saying, well, why don't y'all just follow the teachings and let him go? He was on a campaign. Him, and I remember even Beef Patty Cocoa Bread was saying that too. Garfield, yo, just follow the teachers, just let him go. And then when we was like, get out of here with that foolishness, then they want to run around their pseudo campaign.
It's 2 parts. This is the second one, but my bad.
Yeah. That's
crazy. And see, another thing is, man, it's. Whew.
Now listen, we go into it. Like it's whatever we want to get into, let's get into. Honestly,
it bothers you because when you study this thing, when you study the case files, when you study the whole case from inside out, it honestly was. It had started way before they even kidnapped the master teacher.
Fact.
And he even did a class one time. He was on TAHARQA and he was teaching. And he was like, I know that the government is sending people out here. I know that some of y'all out here listening to me right now is working with them. He said, but hopefully you'll hear something tonight that'll inspire, that'll wake you up. He knew. See, here's the thing. And unfortunately, it's a connection between all of these powerful leaders. Let's start with Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali.
Yeah.
Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yeah.
On down to the master teacher.
That's right.
Each one of these Black leaders, African-American, Negro leaders, or African leaders, Pan-African leaders, whatever you want to call them, teachers, religious teachers, whatever you want to call them, each one of them has something very, very, very much in common. And that was they were interrogated by FBI COINTELPRO. Why?
Interrogated.
Why? You see, they were being watched. They were being monitored. They were being infiltrated. They had to be stopped. The United States government saw something in these movements that they did not like. Let's just keep it 100. They didn't like, and they wanted to stop.
So let me say, because you taking it all the way back to Marcus Garvey. You talk about Noble Drew Ali. You talking about 1912 and stuff like that. Like, so you're taking it back there, like 1800s, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's right.
Saying that. So you're saying from back then to now that the COINTELPRO still active to this day, and that's the what's that, the counterintelligence program that was created from the federal government in order to stop, as they said, to stop the raising of a black messiah.
That's right.
That was that's the focal point. And it's tied with the cult busters. So when anytime one of the organizations become too powerful, they slide their name to the cult busters, and it's like now they become, this people, they're a cult, they teaching this, these people are being harmed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And by doing that, they create a legal way to attack.
Yeah.
By calling them a cult and try to pin them with, they have to find, first of all, they have to find a way to convict them or try to persecute them of violating a federal law.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they have to do. How do we figure out? And it was so hard for them to do that with Malachi York. Our studies, our research suggests that the FBI have been in probing his organization and tagging his organization since the 80s, late 70s and 80s.
That's right.
It usually don't take the federal government that long to pin you on something when they're watching you for that long.
That's right.
But it took them so long to do that, and they had to infiltrate and find that members of their own organization to help them. They couldn't do it on their own.
Yeah.
They had to find disgruntled ex-members, disgruntled family members, ex-family members, some of them best friends.
I seen that.
Malachi York.
Some people go back to the 60s with him, turned on him. And what's crazy is he's still talking about, y'all could come back, just tell the truth. Still to this day. Now, look, that's some alien stuff. I'm gonna tell you, right?
That's right.
That's some stuff where it's like, Bob, really? You letting these niggas back here? He's like, yeah. As long as they want to fess up, as long as they gonna, that's heavy, bro. That's heavy. That's phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? That's some examples for you. And what's crazy is this is the biggest case that I've ever seen on hearsay. No shred of physical evidence anywhere.
That's right.
All hearsay.
Yep.
Because I remember from the kidnapping of Dr. York, when it was explaining that the feds, when they was asking him about the children, it was like there's no proof of any foul play with any of these children. Like, so we ain't got, on that level, we ain't got nothing. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So now let's go into, what's the brother name that's running Nicole's brother, Noel.
Tariq Noel.
Tariq Noel. And just that family, that circle right there, the brother, the sister, the mother, and the significance of them in the conspiracy. Because really, outside of them, there's only Abigail, Habiba. Yeah. Like literally, like these are the only visual, verbal, people that's there, that's holding on to the storyline. And we know that like two or three of them then recanted and they recanted. So, so yeah.
This right here is page 504, right?
Yes.
renewed media efforts against Dr. York and the Nubians. And that's talking about that People's Magazine where Nicole Lopez, who is sister to Tariq Noel and the daughter of one of the alleged mates of the master teacher.
Yeah.
And it's got the whole list. It says, following the raid on the land, the FBI interviewed over 40 children. But that's what the media said, but that's false.
That's true.
There were never 40 children. And the people that they interviewed says the prosecution could barely muster or collect 14, not 40. They could barely get 14, and the people that they did were between the ages of 18 and 28, not children.
That's a fact.
And it's a whole list right here. Khalid Eddington,
all of them, yeah.
Amanda, and here's Amanda Noel, Zaida Roche, Abdul Salam Roche, Safala Roche, Nicole Harden, Crystal Harden, David Tariq Noel, right there. Birth date 10/25/1985. He's 1 year older than me. I'm 36.
And is it true also that out of those 14, most of them were testifying on behalf of Doc?
That's right.
So that's why their testimony wasn't even used.
That's
the so-called 14. That's why I emphasize Nicole, her mother, her brother, because those three were like some of them and Abigail were the only ones that held on to the storyline. Out of the 14.
You literally had parents testifying that their children was lying.
Yeah.
You had some brothers saying, no, my sister's lying. No, they tripping. They doing this because they was mad at the master teacher, or they doing this because they was mad at somebody on the land that they may have had a relationship with, some kind of relationship with, and that they fell out or whatever. It was personal strife.
Yeah.
You know, and it boils down to the fact that when the master teacher was trying to create this land to breed this pure seed, he said the devil got to the children. And he said that you know, you can only, I mean, look at the infamous story we hear about the preacher's daughter, or the you know, people that was raised up to be noble, righteous, raised correctly, but just ended up a bad seed. There's nothing you can really do about that, really. And that's what happened, you know.
Yeah, that was.
And I mean, stuff that was personal stuff that was going on amongst the inhabitants of the land that ended up boiling over into a lot of these people leaving or being kicked out or excommunicated for doing foul stuff, stealing money or whatever was going on. And they came together and all came together and said, you know what, we all pissed off. We all mad at this man. We all mad at the New Orleans. We mad at everybody. And they was inspired by Jacob York to come together and create this plot. And we have so much evidence. The evidence has been out. It's been out. Even from the first documentary, the Mystery Behind Closed Doors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the kidnapping of Dr. York. It's been out.
Dr. York. Oh, the Isle of Patmos.
Isle of Patmos. I mean, that Isle of Patmos right there, he tells it all. He addresses everything in the Isle of Patmos.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this in the chat too.
He addresses everything point for point in the Isle of Patmos. That was one of the first things that woke me up. When I listened to the Isle of Patmos auto, it's like 4 or 5 hours. I said, Lord. Then when I got my hands on the transcript, I said, oh my God. And after that, it was over. But here's also, to get back to Nicole Lopez.
Excuse me.
So basically, these were disgruntled family members. Now, she even testified, she admitted in court that she was having sexual relations with younger adults.
Yes.
With kids.
Yes.
You know, while she was, you know, in her teens, she was having sexual relations with way younger minors. She admitted that.
Wow. And wasn't she her and her, I think her and her mother were given like immunity in order to testify, and so they wouldn't be charged for the crimes that they committed in order to testify on behalf of the government against that.
Yeah. It's also in the book where we have transcripts, recordings from the transcripts where Habiba Washington and others, Nicole Lopez and others, are asked about favorable concessions that they were promised in exchange for their testimony against Dr. York.
Some people even got paid.
Yeah. Now remember now, in the transcripts, attorney Adrian Patrick, big ups to Adrian Patrick, big ups to Brother Bundy Laney, big ups to all the friends of Malachi, big ups to everybody that's that's still pushing strong, helping support the Master Teacher's Freedom. When attorney Adrian Patrick cross-examined these people, Nicole Lopez and people watching all these people, and asked them about the favorable, he was literally reading it and asking them, ma'am, don't you realize that you promised that for your testimony against Dr. York, you would be given favorable concessions? Wow. That basically means I'm going to give you something in your benefit in exchange for you to lie on somebody. That's
you willing to do it. That's right. That's right.
You see.
Wow.
And that's a powerful part. And when you get into the details of the Lopez to the Roches, it's so touchy, because you're dealing with people's emotions. You're dealing with people that lived amongst things. I never lived on the land. I can't speak for any of them people. All I can say is from the research, from the evidence that we have, it looks like a big conspiracy. All fingers are pointing towards that.
It looked crazy. It looked crazy. I mean, again, most of this stuff is hearsay. There's no physical evidence, no blood evidence, no DNA evidence. There was even the rumors that the Noonie Know Nothings was spreading falsehood, talking about excuse me, disease, the herpes, and all that other stuff, when it was actually the total opposite. It was the fact that he had no diagnosis of any form of the herpes, and these girls actually had the herpes simplex. So it's so deep because what's the other brother name that was really pushing, because he's the backbone. Because we talk about Morgan set the Chuck Morgan, he set up the vehicle, but what's the brother name? That was he was on the land with the dredge. Because he was the closest.
Oh, you talking about Rick? Rick.
We talk about Rick. He's where the information is coming from. He's the one pumping out, giving it to these dudes, and these dudes is running around with the talkie faces because they like, oh, he was there. He worked directly with Dr. York. He was right there on the land. But he's really where all this stuff is coming from. Because when you get Chuck Morgan, you look at it, and I test him every once in a while. I jumped on his joint, and I'll address one of the subject matters, and then I'll literally see him go back and change everything. He'll literally rewrite the whole joint, because he's like, oh, y'all can't answer this, and then it's answered simply, and he's like, okay, now it's rewritten. It's a whole nother question now. They do such stuff like that, but dudes don't have no information. So what do y'all have dealing with Rick and his involvement with the situation? Because he was right there with Doc, going back and forth, visiting him, everything, and became a turncoat just for power and status.
We got a lot on Rick. Man, I've debated Wujao on several subjects, man, like from the meta language, from Dr. York's case, from all of that. I want to try to find something, because we addressed that the issue about the herpes, right? About the Dr. York's about all that, right?
Got you. Yeah,
and here's the thing. We found in the case files where I'm trying to look for it now, but it should be somewhere on my YouTube page. But we found in the case files where, like you said, the what happened was Dr. York's PSI.
That's the pre-sentencing
errors.
Yeah.
That's right. The pre-sentencing investigation, and the PSR is the pre-sentencing report. Okay.
Yes.
That's basically in federal prison. The PSI is basically before they sentence you, they do a whole background search on you, your whole life, and all that. And during that pre-sentence investigation, it said that Dr. York tested positive for STDs.
Yes.
Dr. York's attorney, we have it. We got the files, we got all this. Dr. York's attorney said that he filed objections to the judge to Dr. York's PSI, said it contained errors. One of the errors was that false STD report.
That's right.
So in the case file, it says right there in the transcript that Dr. York did not test positive for any of those. Now, when Dr. York's lawyer attested and filed objections to that PSI, the judge never heard it. The judge never had a hearing based on the objections to PSI, because Dr. York's lawyer was saying, listen, you're sentencing my client based on a PSI that contains errors, and we're filing a motion to contest those errors, but you're not hearing it.
Yeah,
so
that's
to
a
this
fact.
day, to this day, Dr. York could still be in prison based on a PSI that contained errors that was never adjudicated properly by the courts.
Yeah, because the PSI itself wasn't heard in front of the judge and challenged officially.
That's right.
In order for them to go into detail and expose. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so that's why, like, when I be hearing Brother Bundy be going in on the case, I'm like, it's entirely too much. It's so jacked up, bro. It's so jacked up, man. It
is.
Damn. So so now we have his case, we got his life, we have these conspirators. Do we have proof within the book, outside of the reception of the federal government, of say like the benefit of the count of SEALs, of the feds, of Edenton, and how they recouped from the destruction and dismantling of the Nuwaubians, the land, the case, because anytime you're dealing with criminal stuff, somebody getting paid. Somebody getting paid. The lawyer getting paid for the case itself. I mean, I know this was one of the biggest joint investigation law enforcement agencies came. It was like 3 or 4 different law enforcement agencies that came there to shut down helicopters and tons of officers, all that manpower, all that the hours of time used. Like who do we track this down? Who can, in your opinion, from the research that's been done, when things get said and done, who will be penalized? Who can we penalize and and recoup from all these damages that's been accumulating for the last 20 years?
In order for that to happen, right? Another good example you could put toward that is like, okay, how can we receive reparations for the illegal seizure of Tamarack? That's a good question. It ties into that, what you're saying. The only way for that to happen is Dr. York's case has to be overturned. If Dr. case isn't overturned, they won't have a reason to, be held accountable for anything. So that's where it starts. That's where it starts. In order to say, okay, how do we get the land back? In order to get the land back, you have to get Dr. York's case overturned. You get his case overturned, that's showing, okay, boom, you never should have seized the land anyway. Plus, the land wasn't even in Dr. York's name during that time. He had signed over the deeds. You know, I mean, it's just like it's crazy, Zamal. You know it. You know just as well as me. It is a conspiracy. I will make anybody. It's a conspiracy, bro. It is one of the biggest. And Dr. York is the most known unknown political prisoner in the 21st century. Point blank. Period.
That's true.
Ain't nobody else. He is the biggest. And you know, Mutulu Shakur he about to get released.
I seen
Tupac's
that.
stepfather.
Yeah, I seen that.
After years. So that's good for us because it shows that, you know, you can't give up.
Another thing you had said earlier, talk about the connection between say going back Noble Drew Ali, going back to you know, Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, Malcolm X, coming all the way up, Marcus Garvey. One of the parallels also that's always used is something dealing with sex to break down the people. Even Martin Luther King, when they slander, they talk about he was a womanizer. Even Martin Luther King, they like behind the scenes, he was running through everything that was moving. You know what I'm saying? After Malcolm, 20 years after Malcolm, you had some clowns they put out that Malcolm was a homosexual. They talk about writing all kinds of foolishness about him.
And you remember, hey, shout out to you. Remember, me and you both called out
we both clapped at him. But send him back to CNN and MSNBC. Get on out of here. Don't come out here with that foolishness.
He ain't been on Sonetta since with that nonsense.
I know. he said, "Yo, go on. Don't come back here with that foolishness, beloved." That was offensive. Yeah, we on you. But yeah, that's the go ahead.
And it is it's not a coincidence. It's always something related to something sexual, in order to cause character assassination. That's you know, in the beginning of the book, this is The Man of Many Faces, right?
Okay.
And I just want to read. I want to read the prologue.
Yeah, give us some of that. Give us some of that heat. Give us some of that heat. Yeah, we here. Y'all family. Y'all just stay in tune.
This is just. It says. I'm gonna start right here. Well, first, let me show this. What we was just talking about. The timeline.
Yeah.
Marcus Mosiah Garvey was put in prison.
That's right.
His organization was destroyed and infiltrated.
That's right.
Noble Drew Ali.
That's right. Yeah.
Fawad Abdul-Wali Muhammad.
That's right.
Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Put in prison.
That's right.
Malcolm X.
That's right.
Murder. Clarence 13X, the father Allah, murder.
That's right. Anybody that step up.
Bunchy Carter, Fred Hampton Jr., Geronimo Pratt, Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton Sr.,
That's right.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh, Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Mumia Abu Jamal. This is not a coincidence.
Not at all.
This is not a coincidence.
Yo, before you read that, we talk about COINTELPRO. You show Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Going back to Sonetta, the dude that Sonetta, the dude what's his name?
Teach that.
The dude he used to do the straight stunt. He was a writer for Straight Stunt with K Slay, you know, rest in peace, K Slay. But that guy there was the lead witness and infiltrator of Yahweh Ben Yahweh's organization for the feds. And he is also the one who was working with Starr that started the Bambaataa situation.
Facts.
The same guy who was a federal agent that helped bring down Yahweh Ben Yahweh.
Yep.
That's a fact. What is this going? Matter of fact, Sonetta got an episode with him. It says when he interviewed him years ago as an ex-federal agent, federal informant. That's when he first came on his show. I was like, yo, why is that cool? Oh man, I forgot what this dude's name is, man. I'm gonna get his name, y'all. If anybody got his name, put it out there. But this guy here was literally the individual who brought down Yahweh Ben Yahweh's organization.
I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, man. That's a serious situation. And he's the same one who started he's the one who gave the name to Star in them as far as Bambaataa going. And the reason why it's significant is because this was a time when we was putting together a tour to free the master teacher. And I know for a fact, I was a part of this behind the scenes. We had over like 30 to 40 rappers and singers that already signed on to help raise attention and awareness and money for the master teacher situation. And then this popped in. That's when the Bambaataa thing started. That's a fact. Yeah. And everybody started pulling away and telling everybody, get away from Bambaataa. That's an actual fact. That's an actual fact. And the brother,
that's right.
King, what's the King Henry out there in Jersey? Let's do the 9 radio. Ah man, he know because he was a part of the team. We was all about to do this music and all that.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, man. But yeah, that's when I seen the list, it just was like, yeah, I just went in on it. But yeah, you was gonna read something.
I'm gonna just read briefly. This is just a brief intro, just to give a good overall breakdown. It says,
let me open this door.
On May 8th, 2002, Dr. Malachi Z. York, leader and founder of the United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors, or United Sabian Nation, was arrested by federal agents on charges supposedly related to child sexual molestation against minors within his organization. York's arrest and the subsequent Waco-style invasion of the 476-acre property by a joint task force of almost 700 heavily armed government law enforcement officers was the culmination of a 20-year FBI investigation into York's activities, which was immediately broadcast to TV networks throughout the U.S.
Yep.
Right? Now, it says, eyewitnesses claim that during the raid, weapons were pointed at the heads of women and children under the pretext of searching for evidence, none of which has ever been discovered. Up to 40 children as young as 4 years of age were illegally taken from their parents by law enforcement officials and forced to undergo degrading examinations for signs of sexual abuse by authorities. However, to the disappointment of investigators, absolutely no DNA or any other evidence was found of abuse against these children.
At all.
It says, despite this, Malachi York was still charged with multiple counts of child molestation and eventually sentenced to 135 years imprisonment in 2004. Since his arrest, York's legal team have worked tirelessly to present crucial evidence that should have immediately exonerated the 62, at that time, he was 62-year-old Nuwaubian leader. This is from Man of Many Faces, including a video recorded sworn affidavit by key prosecution Abigail Washington. It says, could Dr. York's arrest and consequent character assassination be the direct result of the Nuwaubian leader's growing influence in the United States and beyond? And could it also be connected to York's 1993 declaration of the Nuwaubian Nation's complete independence from the United States as the Yamasee Native American Moors of the Creek Nation? As an indigenous sovereign nation, UN number 2151993, as well as his other plans to spearhead the mass repatriation of African Americans back to the West African nation of Liberia. So it's basically tying in that there was a reason for it's a conspiracy, yeah, but why? What was Malachi doing that was so powerful, that was fearing these people that they had to get rid of them?
That was going to be my next question to ask you. What's your position on the indigenous claims and that connection to really why all of this came about? Because it was 20 years. It wasn't 20 years because we know how the feds is. They don't take all that time. They build up all that stuff and they'll take you down for that 20-year worth of stuff. We know that they came when they came because of the doctrine changed and what we were claiming changed. When we was in a religion, they was okay. It's okay. We was in all those different religious schools. I don't care what he called himself. How many trillions of years or whatever. Nigga, y'all ain't trying to take this land. Y'all ain't trying to take your seat back. It's whatever. Soon as that because that's my speed. With the Yamasee Native American government is official on the records with the United States government and recognized, you know, as an official. And Bob, when he got snatched up, which is another thing, he was the head of state of his own sovereign nation. So they violate international law by not even bringing that up, because they had to first clarify that they had jurisdiction, which they did, you know. So that's a major hit. So inside, do y'all tackle that subject matter in the book dealing with? Do y'all build on that?
The book does explain. It does go into his. It does go into his. It shows his Liberian diplomatic. Let me show you right here. Matter of fact, it's a whole chapter on that. Right here. Oops. Okay. Okay, right here. And this started, and this actually started before the master teacher's incarceration through Haru Hotep Tar, or Amadou Varma, who was a former triad member of the master teacher, whose father was Liberian by nationality. Yeah, and they started spearheading this. And the master teacher had plans to relocate the headquarters over there. Now, prior to that, yeah, so you had different, here it is. Copy of the.
That's right.
Right. And now that's something different from the Yamasee, though. The Yamasee aspect comes in, and this is how we knew this is how we figured out that was real. Because you got a lot of slanderers that say it wasn't. We actually found the petition where the master teacher had to file a petition, right, to the Bureau of Indian Affairs and to the United Nations.
Yeah.
And once you do that, that's where he got that 215-1993 number. You get that number when you register. Now, here's the thing. When they arrested Dr. Malachi York, his application or the form that they filled out to get their own, to basically start a branch up under the Washita through Empress Verdiacy from Louisiana, right? Basically, because the Yamasee and the Washita land pass was pending at the time when they arrested, falsely imprisoned Dr. Malachi York. They had to snatch him before that went through. Because once that would have went through, it would have been nothing they could do. But when they snatched him, it was still in the pending process. And this is why he was never able to use that successfully in court. It's deep.
Okay.
It's deep. I actually have the
I want to, because I went to okay, now that's good. That's good affirmation. I did a show on here where I went to, because I was debating with brothers about the Yamasee situation, and I went to the Bureau of Indian Affairs website, Dr. Malachi Z. York, Yamasee Native American of the Creek, and it shows that the application is still pending. Right.
That's right.
But that's a different. That's right. It's right now. It's still pending. That's a fact. Wow. That's one of my beefs with one of the brothers that's running around there pushing the whole creeks. I'm like, you setting the people up because it's still pending. It hasn't gone through yet. So unless you know what I'm saying. So it was crazy because he was on Assassin's show and somebody asked him, well, who approved it? Who ratified it? If it's still pending, he said, well, we did. He was like, basically, he did it himself. I said, all right, hands off of that. Do y'all, whatever. But the 215-1993 number, that is the Washita. That's the Washita Empress in the number. That's the Washita number. The thing is, Baba had another number. Okay.
Here's a sad fact. Here's a sad fact. When in the Man of Many Faces Part 1 book,
yes,
it explains how after they raided Tama-Re and kidnapped the master teacher, they went to
yes.
Louisiana and raided her land too. And basically, that's when she kind of was like, you know what? Never mind this peace treaty with Malachi and the Yamasee. And she backed away from it, and that's why it's still pending.
Yes, yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
You gotta understand, man. When these people come against you, when these people come against you, everybody gonna turn against you. All the people that's not really with Malachi has so many. Man, it's like you get that power, but then
it's the jealousy, the envy come with the power. You know,
it's deep, man. It's deep.
The jealousy, it comes with it. It's part of the package. So when people want, and this is another thing that people don't realize because they want to be in those shoes. They look at the positive benefits of things, but they don't realize that you a servant to the people. You lose your life. You lose your privacy. You become a servant to the people. One of the things I heard Doc say, like on the Isles of Patmos, he was like, my house, my doors and windows and everything was open for 30, 40 years. Like, I ain't got no secrets. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh yeah. He said that too, and he lives. His life was an open book. He said I'm constantly around people all my life. I have no privacy. I have no private life.
That's a fact.
He said I'm always answering people's questions. I'm always around people. Hey, but I found something I want to address real quick.
Please.
As far as the herpes thing, I found a back photo video I did. I'm gonna share my screen and play it just so people can get the in-depth analysis of it, if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right, let me share it real quick.
And for the record, for all the brothers that's here for the Yamasee interim government, y'all can have your own night. This ain't your night. Y'all just part of the shuffle right now. We dealing cards, right? But y'all get your own night when y'all can come through and y'all can answer the questions. Cause we got some questions for y'all. Don't play. Y'all know that. Y'all can relax. We appreciate y'all for being here.
That's right. Right.
You know, let me see. You left and came back to another stream. Should I add the other stream?
Do you see me share my screen?
Okay. It says a stream, but I'm gonna put it up there. Yeah, you good.
Okay, there we go. Okay. All right. Now, and this was on April 17th, 2021, right? When I did this. And this was a direct rebuttal to on August 15, 2002 by Stitcher and have his blood test. The results were given to Dr. York through his attorneys was the start of the problems between Dr. York, the Nawapi administration, and the Garden lawyers. The Garden lawyers obviously saw very slim to no chances of York defending his innocence with positive herpes results identical to some of the victims. Plea of guilty to Lester. He's completely fabricating that now. He's totally fabricating that. Okay. The reason he's fabricating that is because the herpes test results was never used at trial. I'm going to say that again. Those test results was never used at trial. Number one. Okay. Number two, and then he says, he goes on to talk about the plea, the guilty plea under duress. Then he says, here's some of the evidence to support the facts. And he don't say what this is, but we're going to show what this is. This is a habeas corpus that Dr. York filed in 2009, where he's saying he didn't have
he's saying he didn't have herpes, and that he's saying that was fabricated in his pre-sentence report. That's what he's saying.
Remember, we just said that.
That's right. That's right.
My arrest, and after having allegedly obtained positive STD medical results from a few of the alleged victims' witness, I was accused of having sexual relations with for years and up until the time my arrest on May 2002. All right, so this is his.
So that's Doc himself attesting that. People don't know. He put in a motion attesting that before the law, and then after that, that's when the lawyers came back with the oppositions to the PSI, to the pre-sentence report.
Let's
go on.
Like you said, that's him challenging it way back then.
Yeah, that's right.
Now,
so let me ask, do y'all have did y'all ever gain access to the transcripts undedacted? Because I know how hard it was to get access to the undedacted transcripts.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
I personally have I have about 900 pages.
And
it was a lot of crap behind that too. You know, they was trying to say they were trying to, man, Chuck Morgan, I tell you, Chuck Morgan has tried to
Little Sweet.
He has tried to swiftly freaking cover up and twist every single detail of this. And man, we busted his ass on every single point for points, Jamal.
That's so crazy, man. You know what's crazy is like
he's just a liar.
Yeah, bro. Like, and you know, and the believers don't care. They don't care about him lying. Because they all just want another piece. They just want another weapon to use against us. They don't even care whether it's true or not.
That's it.
You know, it's ridiculous, bro. But what they ignoring is that you're dealing with families. You're dealing with real life people that this their way of life. People that lived and died for this. Y'all coming in and playing with it, and it ain't no good, bro.
That's right.
No good,
That's
man.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Now watch this. Now
let's
go on. It's gonna actually show the real STD report. Watch this.
Right here.
Let me see if I can.
Okay. Sexually transmitted diseases wrongfully used to charge and convict me. See Exhibit X of my falsified pre-sentence report.
See that? He's saying right there, my pre-sentence report is falsified. It's wrong. Now watch this.
So here, right here, Dr. York says that there were errors in his pre-sentence report, right? And he's giving it right here, PSR excerpt number 30. Pre-sentencing report is a report that contains all the facts of the case, and a pre-sentence investigation is also an investigation where they basically take all the facts of the case, decide whether they want to give you an upward departure, go above the guidelines, give you a downward departure, go below the guideline, you know, stuff like that.
That's right.
And in this habeas corpus from 2009, Malachi York is saying that his PSR was falsified, saying that he tested positive for something, but he didn't. Right? So anybody can say, well, Dr. York just saying that himself to protect himself, right?
That's crazy, bro.
To the transcripts. Let's go to the transcripts. Okay. Let's go to the transcripts real quick. Go back to okay, here we go. Got it. Okay. This is transcripts, page 13. At the bottom of the page, it says, several of the children allegedly received sexually transmitted diseases from these encounters, right? Chlamydia, trichomonas, herpes simplex 1 and 2 were detected in several children involved in the instant matter. However, no such, oops, I kicked that over. That's the next page. However, no such diseases, page 14, let's go down to the bottom, page 14 here. However, no such diseases were present in York. The government also presented the testimony of Kenneth Lanning, an expert in the area of behavioral and social disorders that cause individuals to molest minors. Document 301, trial transcript, volume 1 at 709 through 757. So that's clearly saying, right? So now you got, okay, what's going on here? Now the question is, well, what's going on? Why is the PSR saying one thing? And why is the transcript saying another thing? Why is that?
Somebody lying.
Now, let's find something even more interesting.
Somebody lying.
Let's find something that's even more interesting.
Now, see, I just wanted to show that
Yeah, you went into detail on that.
I wanted to show that because it proves two things. Yeah, it proves two vital points. The first point is you have a PSI and the trial transcripts. The PSI, Dr. York said the PSI contains errors. His lawyer filed motions against the PSI. In the trial transcripts, it verifies that in the trial transcripts. So how can you have a PSI that's saying one thing and the transcripts that's saying something else, yet there was never an adjudication, there was never a hearing
in order to straighten this out?
The court never said, "Oh, you see him." Yeah, to figure it out, the judge never said, "Okay, York, come on in here and let's talk about this PSI that you saying contains fallacies." That never, ever, ever, ever happened, and the court moved on to sentence Dr. York at trial under a PSI that contained errors.
What it was deep about that is, rather recently I heard Brother Bundy talk about that there's quite possibly we might have some fake PSI reports. Like one of these things might be totally fraudulent and just thrown in there to throw the whole mix off in the first place. And so that's why they don't want to address it.
And that can be a way to get the courts back open. Through the bottom level, through the state level and on up.
That makes sense.
Because that the only way at this point, the only way for Dr. York's case to get reopened, he's exhausted administrative remedy. What that means is you can't get back into court. Only way for him to do that is 2241 motion for new evidence. What's the new evidence? The fact that y'all never, ever, ever addressed the fallacies in the PSI. You sentenced the man under a PSI that contained errors. That's it.
Yes.
You know.
So, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. and it's sad. It's sad when we're fighting for his life and freedom, and you got people playing, just running around slandering, talking. They don't even care about, they don't care so much that in the most intense conversations, them niggas will bring up the pickleman. That's how much they don't care. They want to, which is basically a way of trivializing the doctrine and the importance of what we're talking about. It's one of those red herring things that they throw out there to just throw people off. So, to take the simple mind to be like, what's the pickle, man? And now that's the topic of conversation. Instead of, but we don't want to talk about all these inconsistencies, all these concentrated errors, blatant violations of the law, and the idea that whenever jurisdiction is questioned or challenged, everything's supposed to come to a screeching halt until jurisdiction is proved. And that's really like, that's one of the major issues in Doc's situation. Jurisdiction was challenged and never was spoken of after that.
Right.
Everything after that is moot. Everything after that is fruit of the poisonous tree, as they call it. Because whatever y'all did after that, even though most of the stuff before it was fake and felonious anyway, but everything after that is supposed to be it's like a dead issue.
Yeah, that's right.
This, like, I'm gonna say, like, this thing here is so much to unpack. Because, like, when I go through the transcripts is so enormous.
Yeah.
That they're a class in itself. This is when Bible come home. This is going to be one of those things that law students are going to study forever to show exactly what not to do if you want to follow the law.
Exactly.
Because the lawyers. Talk to me about what's in here about Judge Ashley Royal.
Man, it's
let's talk about that.
It's a lot in there about Judge Ashley Royal.
Can you take the people back? Because his history with the Nuwapians and with Doc is like it go way back.
Yeah.
Go way
deep.
Back.
It's deep. It goes into why they had to get him off the case because of conflict of interest between Prince York's grandfather case that was going on back then, and a lot of misconceptions with the whole jurisdiction as far as having the trial in Brunswick, picking out the jurors, the history behind the town of Brunswick, the connection between all the judges, the prosecutors, the DA, all related. It's it's a pretty intricate web.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But can you give us the background for those that don't know, dealing with Royal, and like you started talking about one of Baba's father-in-law.
Oh, I found it. This is what I was looking for too. Yes.
Doc's father-in-law, yeah.
That's right. Well, let me show this. This is the chapter in there about seals too.
Oh, there's a whole chapter in there about seals. Y'all got okay. Where can we get where can the people get the book?
Lightning from the East at Amazon.com.
Amazon.com, y'all. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
And we working on like the ebooks. Not PDF. Where you can read it online.
Audio and all that.
Audio book, all that. Audio book, all that. And it's a chapter in here. This is important too.
Okay.
This is the specially assembled prosecution task force against Dr. York. Attorney Richard Moultrie, Stephanie Thacker, Fred Bright, Joan Cronier,
the FBI agent. That's right.
Jelaine Ward,
I remember her.
Dawn Baskin, Cher Seal, Tracy Bowen, and Stephen Bradley. And man, this team here was assembled to take take Doc down. This was the team that was assembled to take Doc down. They call him the Ring of Steel. What's crazy though is they said that they had so much evidence against. They bragged to the media about. They said they had tons of evidence, tons of witnesses.
That's a fact.
And at the very first hearing, when they asked Well, what evidence do you have? Where's your evidence?
Yeah, where that's at?
We didn't have any. I said we don't have none. It goes from 40 witnesses to 14. Prior to that, you have the Nuwaubians being harassed about zoning violations and stuff on the land when they first started building on Tama-Re. And those zoning violations and all this, basically like petty harassment, trying to prevent Tama-Re from growing and expanding.
That's right.
They tried to get the lights cut off. They tried to get all the electricity and stuff cut off on the land.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was crazy.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah. So all of this stuff really led up to everything, and was well. Let me read this for you about Judge.
Yeah, give it to us.
Right?
Yeah,
because it's a section in the book.
That's right. That's right, Judge Ashley Roy. Oh, we going.
It says, and this right here is directly from Royal 2003. It says, the court has carefully considered the problem of media saturation and potential bias involving not only allegations against Malachi York, but also reports about the Nuwaubians because York is the leader. The court regularly reviews and have reviewed both Macon Telegraph and Atlanta Constitution for many years. Over the years, the court has noticed in both newspaper coverage of the defendant's criminal case and articles that reflect unfavorably on the Nuwaubians that could adversely impact the defendant at trial. The court has grave concerns about trying to select a jury in this case in any division in the Macon and Atlanta media markets. But here's the thing. So you got Judge Roy publicly admitted that there was negative media pre-trial publicity. Meaning if I'm going to trial and I got all these people coming out saying I'm already guilty before I've been convicted.
That's true.
That shows that impacts the juror. That impacts everybody watching.
They call it the jury pool. Anybody that's going to come there is already going to have a preconceived notion and feeling about you. You're not going to get any unbiased eyes and ears to listen and hear you. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It says, however, upon closer analysis of the ruling, there emerged what appeared to be far more sinister motives behind the judge's new choice of venue. According to York's followers, Brunswick County, Georgia falls directly under Confederate jurisdiction as a result of the 1791 treaty between the U.S. government and the Creek and the Yamasee Native American nations. It says, which ruled that entire eastern part of what is now the state of Georgia, which was all under British sovereignty before being completely taken over by settlers following the treaty over 115 years ago. It was for this reason in particular, according to the Nuwaubians, that Judge Royal, who was well aware of the United States recognition of Malachi York as sovereign head of the Yamasee, the Yamasee Native American nation, decided to relocate the trial to Brunswick County, which is under Confederate jurisdiction.
So it was rehatching the old war. That was what's happening. He was basically became a prisoner of the old war, and they was taking the new Native American chief into custody. They was stealing the chief of the tribe. Wow.
That's right. And everybody knows that the Yamasee are the so-called Black Indians, or even Yamasee that's not affiliated with Nuwaubians.
Yeah, this Yamasee.
If you look at them, they're all and they're not recognized by the Bureau. The Bureau of Indian Affairs still want to kick them to the curb. They don't want to give them that official equality that the other pale yellow Native Americans or American Indians get.
Yeah, and another thing a lot of people don't know, it's not even that we really need it, right? Because this system is a company. This is a corporation. You understand that the United States Inc., anybody get a chance, look up the United States Inc., and you'll see where the United States Inc. is located. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Between in DC, between Virginia and Maryland. That is literally the seat of the United States Corporation and all the subsidiary corporations, all the states became subsidiary corporations under the main corporation. So there's a difference between the United States and America. America has been defunct and usurped, and the United States is in power. And so we don't need corporate recognition in order to be indigenous. What we need to do is activate our indigenous principles and way of life and take that to the international realm in courts so that we're recognized in the international community amongst indigenous real life people. Because in this jurisdiction over here in the United States, they reclassify you as a commodity. You get reclassified, you know, as something to be traded on the market. You know, this spins off into, you know, during one of Kanye's crazy rants, he said something that I'm pretty sure nobody caught. He was talking about the CCA, which is the Corrections Corporations of America, which is where in the Department of Corrections, the prisons, where they actually trade the convictions of the inmates on the stock market as mortgage-backed securities. This is how they transfer over the money from charges that people not knowing how to discharge and get out of those situations. Now they have to become human warehoused. They go into a human warehousing system called the prisons, and then they trade those debts on the market. So when I heard him say that, I said, "Oh, he's on a whole nother wavelength as far as understanding the control mechanism." You know, but yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there that this is a corporation, this is a company, and most of us are still under the tentacles of this corporation and company. And Dr. Malachi Z. York was making a move to get out of that. It was already recognized, even. Because if you go back to Governor Perdue in Georgia, recognized the Yamasee Native American government and Dr. York as the head of state of that government. That's on record.
That's right.
You know,
and see, that's why the master teacher was, the moves he was making prior to his kidnapping is the reason why he was. They knew what he was doing with Liberia. They knew what he was doing with the Yamasee, with all, you know, they knew what was going on, and they knew that he had built a big enough nation, small nation of them, said that he could actually pull it off.
Yeah.
Oh, they knew it.
Yeah. I think all he had to do, the last part, was to bring everybody over and systematize the government.
That's it.
That's the part that was missing.
And he was going to move the headquarters of Tamaray over to Liberia. That way, everything else was just satellite communities everywhere else.
Absolutely.
He was already doing it. I mean, it was already doing it. Think about it. During those last years, 2000, 2001, 2002, he had other people doing the procession of Osiris
That's true.
Rituals. He had the triad teaching most of the classes on the land, because he was in Africa. He was in Liberia. He was doing politician work. He was doing nation building work at that time. He was like, okay, my teachings are solidified now. I'm bringing everything home with Ayo. Everything's growing. Now let me work on the final part, the final sealing of the nation building. And they said, we got to get him before he pulled this off. They knew he was right there at the finish line. Boom. And they had to cut him off right there.
And they used the son to do it. The son and Seals recognizing that once he came into that Dr. York coming to power, that's the end of the Confederate rule. Starting from Georgia and working his way out, where their whole system is going to break down. And his son, for whatever his sick reasons is, but I gotta emphasize, keep emphasizing Jacob York's, his part that he played inside this conspiracy to destroy his father. And I'm glad that y'all making a move to emphasize and do a piece all about that, because this guy is he's been living high up off the hog for years.
That's right.
He's been living high up off the hog for years.
Yep.
It's super sad. And then the other people with the conspiracy, Nicole, her brother, Tariq, their mother, and them being protected in order to them being basically exchanging the benefit for a testimony, And then even Tariq, he actually I actually was going at what's this brother name from Queens? Crazy Flip.
Oh
Flip.
yeah.
I shot at him 1,000 times. I said, "Yo, you got Tariq Noel, you got Hassan Campbell, but you ain't get nobody to represent the opposite spectrum to get the counter the argument, to have a real discussion with somebody that was, you know what I'm saying, that can really walk through the situation. Because the idea that Tariq Noel testified, then recanted, then recanted the recant,
Yeah.
that makes his whole everything moot. Whatever, let's get him out of the way. Habiba to say, okay, people, let's get her out of the way. So now we just left with the mother and the daughter, who both struck a deal on behalf of the fact that they've admitted to committing the crimes.
Right.
And now they're like, okay, let's give us immunity, and we'll tell you whatever you want to tell. Whatever you want us to say, we'll say.
Right.
That's what you're talking. You know what I'm saying? So this is real deep, and people just got to take the time to research. You know, I've this has been a part of our life for 20-some years. You know, just because that was one of the most magical spots on the planet. You know, inspired a lot of brilliant minds, whether they're agreeable or disagreeable. These people are, you know, brilliant minds. I seen on your page, the brother from X Clan and Lord Jamar building, and I've been arguing for years that Brand Nubian was named after Nubian Islamic hero. Me and the gods been going at it. They like, never, never. I'm like, never? Who else was pumping Nubian? What are you talking about?
Let's show that. I showed it real quick. Let me share my screen real quick. I showed it because, and you're right, because listen, I had Chuck Morgan. I was same thing. No, Dr. York didn't call. I said, okay. And then that clip was sent to me like literally the next day after they did it. And I reached out to Lord Jamar to try to get an interview with him, but I never heard nothing back. But man, he kept it so 100.
I was surprised. I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't messing with Lord Jamar like that. I was surprised. I was interested. I really went there to listen to the brother Jay from X Clan, because that's one of my prototypes.
Brother Jay,
yeah, one of brother Jay, one of my prototypes. His makeup is one of the things that I extracted as I was developing in my artistry and my writing, my expression, and because he always got busy. I don't care what he was talking about. But when Brother Jay brought it up, it was like, yeah, Brother York and the little books and the pamphlets, and Jamal, he went in. And I gotta give him his props for that, man, because I argued that for years. Niggas like, nah, but you fucking not. And I'm what?
Yeah, I'm having a glitch. It ain't let me pull it up, but you can show. But
yeah, let me see.
That right there.
Yeah, I could go to. I think that's on Facebook. Somebody had asked about, what is that? Somebody asked about the books. Which book is the most up to date? The one that they should get now that has the most relevant information.
That's both. That's the only difference between these are the cover, but once you order now, you go to the Wu Sabat version, Ansar version, and all that. But the Wu Sabat version is the latest.
Those are the ones. Yeah. All right, those are the ones. Let me see. Do y'all see this? Yes, you see the screen? Am I seeing my screen bug out?
I don't see it.
All right, cool. You just see me.
Sometimes when I go to try to share, it won't. I don't know why it won't do that. Well, it did it earlier, but sometimes it'll.
Let me see. I'm gonna see if I could share, present. Okay, share screen. I'm gonna do a share screen.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I'll show that again.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, you know, people can't deny the influence of Dr. York. You know, like you say, whether you love him or hate him, his influence is just everywhere you go. Music, you know, not just the teachings, just music, business, philanthropy, real estate. I mean, business, music mogul, business mogul. I mean, it's just.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Like the wheat bread pizza. Talk about you know, the idea of what's the name? The whole neo soul movement coming from Kedar Massenberg.
Absolutely.
You know, You know, that's all. That's still all him, really. You know, when you get to it, the Erykah Badu's, you know, like, you know, you could damn near find any rapper. They all be saying his name. You know, they've said his name once or twice.
Go down. It's keep going down. You'll see it.
Oh, it's down. Okay.
Yep, down. Should be close. Close.
Yeah, I seen that about Shaka his braid. That was crazy.
Man, Shaka almost.
Oh, this is it right here.
Yeah.
This is it right here.
Had their thing in Brownsville. You know, he had the little pamphlets. He was having the tablets and the pamphlets. You know, That's why we called ourselves Nubian, brother, because of Brother York. Correct, brother. Correct. He's the one that brought that something, and you know, the little pamphlets that used to come into, and you know, even when York and them had their thing in Brownsville, you know, he had the little pamphlets. He was having the tablets and the pamphlets. You know, That's why we called ourselves Nubian, brother, because of Brother York. Correct, brother. Correct. He's the one that brought that language into the lexicon, where we wasn't necessarily calling ourselves Nubian. And after reading some of his pamphlets, that Nubian really stuck to me. I was like, I could trick these motherfuckers into, you know, because African had a negative connotation to it with a lot of people. But if you can almost trick them into calling themselves African by Nubian, you see, so that was, you know what I mean? I thought that was a thing. And exactly. Dr. York, shout out to Dr. York.
Yeah. That shit right there. Yeah.
Yeah. And see, when he did that, man, and see, here's the thing. Common sense will tell you that Dr. York was the first person in the West to coin the term Nubian. Nubian Islamic Hebrew, boom, right there. Nubian nation, boom, right there. And that influence, man, is just so powerful, and that's why, and that's really the purpose of the book. The purpose of the book is not only it's a history book for the students of Nuwapo, Wusabat, Wunuwap. It's a history book for the legacy of the nation. It's also a history book based on for people that's coming in new. For the young sapiens that's coming in that don't know the background, don't know the history, Imam Isa, the Ansars, and all that. For them to, you know, get a good essence of the growth of it. And then in the back, of course, it addresses the slander and the case and stuff. So we tried to make it like an overall one-stop guide, you know, and we're about to start a book club, a study group for the book. Because the master teacher said he wants us to be just as knowledgeable on the case as we are with the doctrine.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. That sounds good.
We're gonna start all that. Start a book club, website just for the book, just to get everybody sharp on that, so that when people come with that petty slander and all that, you can cut that on out real quick.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Yeah, that's that. Listen, man, that's a phenomenal. First of all, you already reached a phenomenal feat. It's organic, so it's going to keep growing and expanding. And as more people minds and such, is more walls are going to break down, and you know, and penetrate this matrix that's been built around it. You know, because like people don't know. Like I look at like Drink Champs, right? Nori and them from Left Rack, they came under Queensbridge with Tragedy Gaddafi. Tragedy Gaddafi, intelligent hoodlum, was Ansar Allah. He brought that doctrine over there to Queensbridge, which gave birth to Nas, gave birth to Prodigy and Mobb Deep, gave birth, and then Nori and them hanging out over there. That's why they was talking about CNN. They was on some military Imam Thug and Islamic hybrid because of the Ansar Allah and Islamic Hebrews. Like all that stuff came from, you know, like, and then we talk about X-Clan, and then even RZA and them, they was building. Remember, they from Brooklyn. RZA, Jizza, ODB, they from Brooklyn going out there to Staten Island. You know what I'm saying? They deal with the mathematics, but they was, you know, we control Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? You can't go nowhere in Brooklyn without coming in contact with doctrine.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Any school we went through, the people in that school used that information to go against the other religions. If you was Muslim, if you go to the Ansar, you use the Islam to go against the Christians. If you're Christian, you use the Christism degrees and all that. And the questions that asked the Sunni Muslims, you use that against them.
Yep.
Everybody used the doctrine as a stepping stone to go against everybody else. That's because before the internet, before social media, there was Dr. York. Before World Wide Web, everybody went to Dr. York to get the information. That's
and then when it hit, he was the first ones to start utilizing it with the Dr. York versus the computer, where he started doing the live AOL debates in the chat rooms.
That's a fact.
Oh yeah.
Nah, man, phenomenal. So what do you want? What's the ultimate thing that you want the people to pull from the book? And this in a great, because this is a great work. You know, I commend you and the brothers and whoever was a part of contributing, you know, because it's a lot of information. There's a lot of trick trap doors out there that are being put out there for people to use, just to bait other people. So yeah, the time that it took to put it together. And I want this to be a testimony to everybody else, all the people out there in whatever state of mind you're in. It's all about taking the time and committing yourself to whatever the mission is. And y'all completed not just one, but 2 or 3 versions of the one. You know what I'm saying? So I'm inspired. I had 2 books sitting there since 2009 that I gotta edit.
That's right.
Just sitting there already written, ready to go. Right. And I just like, get it done. You know what I'm saying? Right. So what do you want the people to get from it? Ultimately, what you want the end result of the people?
Well, the end result and the book is written honestly from a journalistic perspective, meaning it's not written as a pro Dr. York book, and it's not written as a counter Dr. York book. It's written to give you the raw facts of the case and let the reader come to their own conclusion.
Okay.
You see, that's why in some parts you play devil's advocate in some parts of the book. Because that's the way Doc taught. That's why he said, don't believe me. Check it out for yourself. He's saying, I know what I'm teaching you is true, but you're not going to know until you do your own research. So the main purpose of the book is to get people to do their own research and to know the fact, because there's so much controversy with negative media publicity. That's what really we want to set the record straight on. Because once we can reach these major platforms, just like think about if we could get on People Magazine and try and rebut them on their platform, you know how powerful that would be.
Listen, we in tune. Let me just stop right there. When I was talking about the legal implications, the fact that they violate the law, they're liable. I think all that's needed is that lawsuit, and we don't even want monetary compensation. We want the platform. Yep. We want the platform. We want to be able to use the platform for this discourse.
Yep.
Y'all used it to slander. We want to be using it to make everything right. That's the type of thing we got to do with these people. Word.
Right.
I'm with that.
Yeah. And then it's basically the only biography of Dr. York and his movement in existence. So that right there in and of itself is gonna stand alone. You know, attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz, who actually helped on Dr. York's habeas corpus, he just recently put out a biography on Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, the Book of Khalid,
which was fire.
So we need this because the Nuwaubian Nation, Sabian Nation, is the fastest growing Black organization on the face of the planet, number one. And it's the most productive and it's the most progressive. It's gone further than any other movement that came before it. So the book highlights all that, and most importantly, it highlights the negative media publicity and the slander. And so the objective is for people to use the book, now that we have approval from the master teacher himself, that even puts more behind it, because he has basically, he's even shocked by some of the information in it, as far as the history. And now this book took years. I came in on the late end. When Yvonne Christensen and Brother TAHARQA was first putting the book together, it took them like 7-8 years of compiling data to put Man of Many Faces together. Then plus another 5-6 years on top of that with all the extra information that's in the back of the book. So it's important because it is going to go down in history as the biography of the Nuwaubians, or the biography of Dr. York. And that's what we're coining it as, the biography of Dr. York.
So yeah, I advise everybody to go pick that up ASAP. I know personally that Dr. York is telling the brothers and sisters that he's in contact with to tell everybody to get the book and support. And now I'm advising everybody to do it because he did the same thing with the kidnapping of Dr. York. He did the same thing with Man of Many Faces, and we didn't move on it. Right. And one of the things that be stopping things from progressing is not moving. When the quarterback call a play, we got to move on it, because we talk about this as a master chess player. There's a reason for everything. You might not be privy to know. And there's a movie when one of the Matrix, where Cornel West was in there playing one of the councilmen, and they was asking him why he's supporting Morpheus with going back to, going out there to talk to the Oracle and Neo and all that. And he said, understanding is not a prerequisite for cooperation. That stuck out. Right. I don't have to understand. You know what I'm saying? That's not the required, thing for me in order to cooperate and help and assist you with progress. So even though sometimes y'all don't understand the movements, it don't mean just use your reason in order to move forward with the family, because remember, you don't want to jump ahead. You don't want to fall back. The doc always asks the people, just walk with him. Walk with me. Ask me the questions. And you have to ask the questions. I don't mind no questions. Y'all know how I be. Sometimes I get we might have a nigga moment here and there, but you know what I'm saying? That's just the boondocks.
Hey, now listen now.
Go ahead now.
Before we close out, here's the idea.
I'm listening.
I want to come back on maybe the next week or two, and I want to do a free book giveaway. And we're going to do a small pop quiz, and we're going to allow people in the viewing audience in the comments, and whoever maybe we do a 9-question pop quiz, and whoever get the most right, we'll send them a free copy of the book.
Sounds amazing.
Because you got a lot of students. Dr. York got a lot of students and followers out there all over the world.
Yeah.
And that had that, and so we always like to do, give some free books out. So maybe we can come back and do that.
No, we definitely can. And you have a lot of people who are just learning about. I'm amazed when I meet people who never heard of Doc. I'll be like, wow, like this is, you know what I'm saying? So to have a place where they could go and get the whole, story from soup to nuts to present day is like they could catch up. That's the outline of the last since 1963 to 2022. Here, boom. Now you caught up. Let's go.
That's it. Let's go.
You see what I'm saying? Now you caught up. Now you have any questions? I'm pretty sure you got questions. Let's handle it type situation, So I'm with that. That's definitely that's cool. I'm gonna read. I like the fact that you ready to come back. I'm gonna read. Anybody got any questions? I'm gonna before the brother get out of here, and I ain't really in no rush. And I ain't been on it the second since I had the little Babino. He he's been priority.
That's right.
He's a bully. It's crazy. Crazy. So little having so much impact.
That's right.
Okay, so all the brothers, okay, we've been handling most of the stuff they've been talking about, so why haven't Dr. York know this information to reverse his sentencing? I guess to talk about the pre-sentencing, but you read literally where he addressed it.
He tried. He addressed it. And see,
no, because what he's been doing is putting it on record. As long as he keep putting this stuff on record, when they go back, everything is there already. And
and here's the thing. This is why attorney Adrian Patrick has such a hard time, because he literally said the judge was blocking witnesses. He said he wanted to call. I was asking why he didn't call Jacob York to the stand. He said he wanted to. The judge blocked it.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
The judge blocked so much stuff in this case. It was just like, how unfair is this? So Dr. York actually was the first one to address that, and it just.
That's why the transcripts are so important. Yep. That's why the transcripts are so important, because you see where things were being blocked. Yeah. Somebody gave somebody gave another list of some of the other artists: Sean Price, Nas, Cameron, MF Doom, Jazzo, Prodigy, Killer Priest, Facts. We left out Pasta Noose from De La Soul.
That's right.
On the Land.
That's
right.
What
I'm saying? Yeah. Pasta Noose from De La Soul.
Music Soul Child.
Music Soul Child. Definitely Family. Jimmy Cliff.
Outkast.
Yeah, Jimmy Cliff. That whole AT Alien it was about.
Oh yeah, that was all Nuapu.
And then the Goody Mob right behind that.
Right behind them.
T.I. just bought the Holy Tablets last year. Yeah, that was we had a whole video about showing that, and that's just a whole other thing. There's a lot of, believe this or not, there's people who never read the Holy Tablets, bro.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's true.
Because we don't be knowing how sped up we are. We're sped up from being, because like one of the brothers said, Doc is an AI. He's an artificial intelligence. Pre-programmed in the DNA to answer whatever people put towards him. So it's like, but it don't come out unless you ask the question.
That's right.
Yeah, man. So he's like, he sped us up, bro. We talk this talk like it's everyday stuff, bro. Like, and people ain't ready. People. The young guy, one of the triad, Tahuti, when you was out there, that's running around on Killer Priest platform. You know what I'm saying? He's taking. He left, but he took the doctrine with him. He acted like, I outgrew that. No, you got hip to the next wave before everybody else because you was a triad.
That's right. I mean?
That's right. So the whole Nitiru thing and everything that we was about to go into,
he already had the up on it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how Doc teach the teachers.
Yes.
He gives them a head, like they had like the Black Book. And then some people had the Black Book 2. Some people I heard had Black Book 1, 2, 3, and 4.
He would let them. He would actually also let them proofread it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Proofread it. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, because there's a lot of brothers that proofread books that ain't come out, right now. Like
that's right.
To this day, so that's how they stay ahead of all the other. Because we waiting for the joint to drop, and they already talked about something they ain't dropping till next year.
Yeah,
sitting there like, where you get that from? Like, shit, I can't. I can't give it. So yeah, man. Yo, listen. So we got with the God of TAHARQA. He like just let us know like the best time for him in his time zone where he good, cause we'll break out in the late night. Don't worry about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Don't worry about it.
And maybe we could set up a part 2. We'll get a time with TAHARQA, then we'll do the free book giveaway all in one.
Yeah, because we want his energy. We want his the contribution and even the struggles.
Oh yeah.
Because there's no time. There's no time left. So whatever we're doing, we sacrificing the time from something else. Everything that we're doing. That's just how everything is set up right now. Because we in this land before time space right here. Because the hourglass is being shifted. There's a reset going on. So, but I definitely appreciate you for coming through, giving us these bombs where everybody know that there's been a conspiracy to lock up Dr. York. You could do the research. It's so much evidence on him and on his innocence, as opposed to the evidence that's lacking really on his guilt. And that's the saddest thing, because if he could go through that, it's like how Kanye was talking about, if they could do this to my bank account, I'm a billionaire, what can they do to yours? You see? If Adidas could go through and tell the banks to stop this and stop that, he said, I just see Kanye say, he said, I went from a billionaire, I have $4 billion, $11 billion, to now I can't use my Apple smart card. So they could do that. And I know about it, and I'm gonna give people a jewel of this dude named The True Story of Jonathan May. I did a video on him, and they mention him in Behold a Pale Horse, and the chapter Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars is in there also. But the true story, Jonathan May became a billionaire overnight. He was worth over $177 billion. And he was going against the Federal Reserve Bank, and they illegally locked him up. They rerouted all his money through Federal Reserve banks, and he did 13 years, bro. 177 billion. So all y'all so-called billionaires, I'm telling you, these dudes don't play fair at all. So when somebody you got the brothers that got a little billion here, a little, 100 million here, they think this dude had 100, and he was a Mukasu. He had 177 billion, and they killed the governor that he was working with, and they snatched him up. He did 13 joints, and they took all his bread, got interest from all his billions, and then when he came home, he disappeared. He's like, I don't want nothing to do with nothing. I'm out. He's like, I'm out. Man, that happened just like that. Billionaires. So, but yo, you got any information with website, anything done yet?
We're working on that. We're working on the we're gonna do a Lightning from the East website. We're gonna do a book club. We're gonna work on next weekend. We're gonna work on doing a presentation.
Okay.
We're gonna actually work on doing this at the Clan Mothers bookstore.
Okay. In Georgia. Okay.
In Georgia. And we're gonna try to get Brother Crumb with Crumb TV to film it. So we'll have it streaming from his platform too. And it's basically gonna be like a a presentation on the book, but also a presentation on how the whole tribe can come together and work together on one accord to try to get what needs to be, because this aspect of it, this is gonna take care of the media. This is gonna take care of the negative publicity. This is gonna take care of all of that, and that's needed in the fight to help free the master teacher.
I agree.
So we're gonna work on getting that together, but you can find me at Brother KHONSU, Brother KHONSU and AMUN-RE on Facebook, Brother KHONSU on YouTube, the Universal Yoruba Nation YouTube page, and the Universal Yoruba Nation is actually an affiliate or subsidiary of the United Sabian Nation, the United Nuwapi Nation worldwide.
I understand. Yeah, that's one of the family. They family.
Right. And see, and a lot, and what's important about that is to show that we do have alliances with other African nations. Because like I say, the book came out originally first in Africa. So it's telling
that's
you
deep. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's heavy. That's heavy.
That's right. So Dr. York got a lot of support and love from the Yoruba, from the Akan in Ghana, from the Iwe in Ghana, the Bassa in Liberia, all these different African nations show a lot of love. So that's what we're really trying to do. We want to unite us together, and we want to unite with other African-centered organizations, because that's, in essence, Wusabat is African animism. That's all it is in essence. And that's how we relate to our brothers on the continent and, like the Oyatunji village in South Carolina. Dr. York went there, and it helped give him inspiration to build Tama-Re. So we got a lot of love from the Universal Yoruba Nation. So we want to put that out there too. And you can reach the book. You can find the book on Amazon.com. And for any wholesale distribution, for any people that want to, get the books wholesale, you can contact me personally or contact Brother Olu. I'll drop my information in the
chat. Please put it in the chat. Yeah, because I might get, not might, but I'm gonna be interested in dealing with some wholesaling, so I could get it out to the people on this side of town, because it's necessary to know. And the fact that you're coming from there's this place where they could get the pros and the cons, that's phenomenal.
That's right.
The brother, AMUN-RE is in the house. He had the Muspatu in here.
Right back.
Yeah, he out here. He asked the question, you know, because he likes he be on him about the prison and treaty transfer. He's looking at. He's asking, is that part of the conspiracy? The prison and the treaty transfer. Did y'all cover that inside the book, or is that too new?
Yeah, that's more that the prisoner treaty transfer has to do with Dr. York's post conviction remedies. One of his meaning after he was already sentenced, that has something to do with the brothers that's working with the Liberian part of it.
Okay,
I personally don't know too much about, but it's not detailed in the book. But it's not the reason we can say it's not a part of the conspiracy is because the conspiracy that we're mainly talking about is the
things that got him here.
That's right.
Got you. That's a great answer. That's a great answer. Right. And that's a great, especially for AMUN-RE. That takes away a lot of conspiracy. He gonna let you slide with that one. That's a great answer. Might not be no heat behind that.
That's right. That's right.
The brother, the Messiah, and you can answer this. You can just say you're delusional or lack information. I don't know what these brothers. The brother, a little bit of controversy for the night. You know, why not? We, you know, as YPNs.
We love it, man. That's what we built for.
But he said too crazy. A true student of Malachi will never say he is an ADX when the Holy Tablet clearly states where he is at, who is sitting in his seat. So, he's saying somebody else is sitting in his seat and that he's not in the ADX. You want to comment on that? The idea that he's not in prison?
Yeah, I'll comment on that. That's something that's okay. So what that's talking like that. Yeah, all right. So in order to answer that question, you have to address the Holy Tablets. All right. The Holy Tablets is all right. We know the Holy Tablets is outdated. We know that.
Don't use those words.
Right?
Don't use those words up here.
They don't like that word.
Don't use those words.
We know that the tablets is outdated, right? Just like a lot of the old scrolls is outdated. No. And the master teacher said to himself, and he began to upgrade these teachings himself, which is where you go from the Holy Tablets to Black Book 1, then to Black Book 2. The Black Book 1 and 2 were basically the answers to the questions that people had from the Holy Tablets. It's an extension, it's an upgrade, right? So in the Holy Tablets, it's a story about Murdoch, right? And a lot of Nubians like to say, okay, if Doc is the equivalent to Murdoch of the Sumerian school, and it's the story in Murdoch about being under the rock, you know, have to be freed and all that, which comes from the Sumerian tablets, then a lot of Nubians say, well, maybe that's not really Doc. And then a lot of people say that's his clone. And we tend to steer away from that aspect of it because the fact of the matter is Dr. York is a man. He's a man. Absolutely. He has parents. He has children. He has emotions. He cries. He gets angry. You know, he's a regular person like me and you. And he constantly stressed this to his followers. That's why he said, I'm not a holy man or a preacher. I'm a master teacher. He said, it is not me. In the Ansar school, he would say, it is not me that is doing this. The masters that guide my pen. Yeah, he let you know that he was a Ilamuta or an avatar or a vessel for higher dimensional beings to communicate through him. So we can't say that, you know, well, if that's Yanun or if that's Tahuti or if that's Melchizedek, then why don't he have the wisdom to zap himself out of prison? Because now you're going into the realm of spookism, which is something the master teacher also said to stay away from, spookism. So in essence, that needs to be stopped because he explained, that's just like when people say, well, if Malachi York is an extraterrestrial. No, he's not. Malachi York was born on planet Earth in the year 1945. He said that. He said that the being that possessed him fully was 76 trillion years of information.
I'm with you.
You see, so it's little intricate details like that. So the math, you know, as far as is Dr. York in prison, yes.
Yes.
It's just spooky. We have to stop the spookism. The Nawab Doc said the Nawapian mind is outstandingly practical. So he wouldn't be going through all this trouble, and the nation wouldn't have been going through all this trouble for all these years if, you know, it was something spooky about it.
Well, also to add to that, if you're saying he's not, then what are you saying he's doing to his own family and tribe? If he's not, and he's allowing them to believe that he is, you know what I'm saying? What kind of agenda is that you're putting on him to say, yo, this dude is faking being in there and allowing everybody to think he's there? So that, like, what kind of stresses, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you saying? And then, how I say, him being a channeler, because, you know, that's either a lot of people going in looking at the Pleiadian channelers and the Astar channelers, and, you know, they cool with all the Mukasu channelers, but when it comes to Nagaru, you know, a Melanonite that's tapped in, you know, he called himself a transmitter. In some of the parts of he said transmitter. So it is, and I love what you expressed, because the way you expressed it, because what you did was layer it with humanity. He's a human, he's going, and so I want to take that and add it to the idea that when these beings take control, he has no control.
That's right.
So he's been taken to do the job because he's been appointed the job, and that's what it is. And when he comes out of that, a lot of times he don't even know what took place.
That's right.
So a lot of people that want to be in seat and they want to be the man, think about what you see. Like, he's been going through this for 40, 50 years, being taken an automatic pilot, scribing, teaching, running around, and then thrown back in the driver's seat, like, where we at? What's going on?
Plus, on top of all that, let's not forget that on live video, live class, entitled Persecution of the Leaders, he predicted himself that he would be falsely. He said the same way they got the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said they're going to come and get me the same way.
The leaders. That's right.
So that's right. El Messiah, he predicted this. He knew this.
And all the Black Devils.
Yeah.
He said they're going to come after me the same way they came after them.
That's
so
right.
I got to get ready.
Said it. And then he said, and they asked him, the students at that time, because he was teaching as Imam Isa. This was back as Imam Isa. And then he said, and they asked, well, won't Allah come to save you? Won't they come to save you? He said, no. He said, I'll be at the mercy of the devil because my own people will not come to help me.
They look like they must, you know what it is? They supposed to go to chant. And that's what happened. So now they ain't go to chant. So there's a lot of foolishness taking place on the chat line. But yeah, he said that, and he constantly emphasized. One time he was like, "Yeah, that's why I gotta watch myself because I know it ain't nothing for a nigga to jump up and try to gun me down. Like, I ain't traveling in a Pope mobile. That's what I'm saying? I ain't bulletproof. And that's just the reality. And even inside the old book, do you notice, man? It was like the brother was saying how Doc originally didn't even appoint anybody security. People just took it upon themselves to run around and be there. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, all right, you're gonna take you got to be the one. You got to be there. Stuff like that. So that's official, man.
That's right.
And we gonna get ready to get out of here, family. Woo! Our first joint back, and
And my brother, let me say I'm thankful. I definitely appreciate you having me on your platform.
Yeah,
and we're gonna try to do a part 2 with Brother ADAFA, and we're gonna do a small pop quiz and a free book giveaway. And
listen, you definitely welcome to the platform. I was telling the sister Iris. She the one who told me, the master one, X1, he's like, yo, he asked them to get the information out, like, about the conspiracy. He want to emphasize that. And so I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? That's something that I'm already, as crazy as I'm already working it out. I already was going through the book. I was like, damn. I said, I reached out to the brother. I said, I got to reach out to you. And I said, okay, I'm just lining up when the right time, because I got a bunch of stuff going on. My whole schedule just changed, like today. I got a whole new schedule. So I'm supposed to be in a class right now, but I went to a class earlier Just putting that on record. So if anybody dry snitching on me, but I appreciate you coming through. We appreciate the contribution with the book, putting that out there to the people, because that's sacrifice of time, focus, you know, and it's a major blow and a step in the right direction. That's for us to come together and to extract and utilize your Miss Infinity, you know what I'm talking about. To utilize the information. Look, the Pickle Man on that.
Let me say this to whoever Pickle Man is. Let me say this. Let me show this to Pickle Man real quick, because this is the beauty of the book, and this is why we had to really, really, really focus on the end of the book.
Slanderous enemy, malicious and slanderous enemies of Dr. York.
We
hope y'all put young Pharaoh Allah, because his nigga name is Allah.
Yeah. Yeah, he tried to change it. Look, we got all of these, all the slanderers. It's a whole section back here on Chuck Morgan, which he have not addressed yet. It's a whole section back here on Mark Lamont Hill, which he have not addressed yet. It's a whole section back here on the Noonie Boos, which they have not addressed yet.
Them niggas out there selling socks. Anybody worry about them?
And here's the key. Whole section on Chuck Morgan, whole section on Tarnoon. And here's the key. We've gone up, and me and brother Pharaoh Shep said, we've been on Sinetter, Crumb TV, all these different platforms. I challenged Chuck Morgan live on Sinetter. I challenged Garfield and Aunt West live on Sinetter. None of them will debate us.
Unc's crack pipe, facts.
Yeah, none of them. Oh, that's Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah,
that's what that is.
He's so old news. Yeah, he's so old news.
Choquero Taco Bell.
Every single he's in. Look, he's in the book. Let's show.
Yeah,
I'm gonna show. Look,
he said there's nothing new in the doctrine that hasn't been taught.
Brother
before.
Malik.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Cuban Missile Crisis, right there.
Yeah. I remember. I know exactly who he is.
You in the book, man.
I asked him to show us the 30 spirits throughout the doctrine from the Ansar Allah all the way down to now. You won't find it. Show us the genetic kiss. You won't find it. Show us the mitochondria, the science of the asexual parthenogenesis. You won't find it. So I'm just saying, for the racial the identifiers of the Sans people, how they have all the identifiers of all the races of the earth. You won't find it. I'm gonna just say that those are a few of things that's being taught now that has never been taught throughout the doctrine. And I've been since I was 11. So you know what I'm saying? That's just as this thing grew, it doesn't exist. But it's okay. I understand what happens when you leave, when you move something like this. You listen. When you move something, it's like, where do you go? You got to stay around. You know what I'm saying? Where do you go? Yeah, that's just what it is, man. You got. Whatever.
And see, one of the things, and this is why we wanted to. This is why we put a concentrated effort on Chuck Morgan, because he's the head honcho of this Dr. York slanderers. Everybody else uses Chuck Morgan's information to slander
the authority. Yeah.
Exactly. So we put a whole chapter on him. We also have the Rebuttal to the Slanderers, nuopianism.com Facebook group. That is a direct rebuttal to everything on his website. So, like I say, when we went on Sinetta and challenged these people, Chaka Amos, Divine Prospect, Captain Tazariak, all of these people, all of them, we challenged all of them personally. And none of them stepped up to the plate, including Martin Monthill.
They really don't have nothing. That's why. That's why they don't. Because it's second and third hand information. They don't really have nothing. Like, even Tazariak and them, they was talking all this stuff, but when they found out that Tariq Noel recanted, and then recanted, they ain't want, they stepped back. It was like, oh, we didn't know that. They ain't know none of that. Right. I seen that when it was on the other platform. What's that? That's like the party line. What's this?
Right. Exactly.
When I seen them up there. So Yeah, man. So listen, if you have any last things you want to say to throw to the people, family, you already know where we at.
Yeah. Lastly, listen, like I said, what we're another thing we want to try to utilize the book to utilize love and unity. And also get everybody in the tribe working on one accord. So like I say, we're gonna be reaching out to people. We're gonna try to put on events. We're working with Chrome TV. Also gonna be working with other bookstores, the Madu Bookstore, Shrine of the Black Madonna, because you got a lot of people, man, that support Dr. York, and a lot of ex-students and still students of Dr. York, but they're in other avenues and kind of, each person has their own unique ability to be a Nasari M. Yanun or helper of Yanun or teach in their own way or do something in their own way. Everybody had their own unique way to do it.
That's right.
But as long as we all doing that and fulfilling that purpose and that cause, then we shouldn't be able to go wrong. So like I say, man, you can find me, Brother KHONSU, on YouTube, and the book Lightning from the East on Amazon. And Brother Pharaoh Shepsef, definitely appreciate this, and we got to come back for a part 2.
I appreciate you, beloved. Trust me, God, and what you saying and y'all intention has been went up. Upon the thought, recognize it, because that's exactly this. Baba's Doc says use the book as a catalyst to bring the people together, and he specifically say start with the conspiracy. That's right. That's where we at. So we gonna kick the doors right off the hinges on this one. So yeah, I appreciate you being
That's right.
the first on the comeback tour. And y'all invited anytime, let me know. Just keep me posted on what's what, and we make some space and time. The Yamasi interim government, y'all gotta see, we got some heat for y'all, so get your things right, cross your T's, dot your I's. Y'all know where I'll be about. And I love to love y'all, because we know that your intentions are honorable. We just gotta make sure that we on our square, because you can't build a castle on quicksand. You know what I'm saying? You just want to build castles on quicksand. We can't let that happen. So, but again, I want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to the brother KHONSU for stepping up and being 10 toes down, for the master teacher. Thank you all the brothers and sisters, Miss Infinity and Brother Love. And I'm giving everybody a shout out that I see. Even Pickle Man, Maurice Samuel, the Ninth Power, Nuberian, Love is the Answer. Thank you to all the peoples that came through, show us love. Pamu Spot to Eternal Entertainment, Television, El Messiah, even though you be always on some other stuff, beloved, we love you. It ain't about nothing. Our shook is the wave. You know what I'm saying? Who else out there? Irvin Al. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to see you, brother. You flipped out on me, went to the other side, but it's cool. We family. Shy Gritty, El Shafi, what's happening? Giving everybody love. You know how I do, going through the headlines. Boom, 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 boom. Who else? Yeah, the whole idea of Baba not being in prison, Doc not being in prison, that's a real sad stuff. That's the same thing Shabu El was saying. This is an excuse for people to turn their backs and not, you know what I'm saying, not feel guilty. Yeah, we off that. But anyway, Mustafa Workman, I'm still trying to hit everybody else who tapped in. Thank y'all for tapping in. Look for those alerts, because I'm gonna be sporadically getting in. I got some high power. At least y'all gotta get some more numbers. George Pristo, Bakari. Oh, Bakari Hatap. Listen, grandmama drop dead gorgeous out there in Africa. Facts. Not no funny stuff. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? I seen those pictures. I was like, damn, that's official. You know what I mean? I love that. And it showed that we got that stuff in our system, and that's how we made it to be conscious. Brother Love, aka Rhythmatic Star. And that's about it. Nuberian. Yeah, y'all. Oh, Tashana Bryan, you was here from the gate. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for rolling with us. Lucky Orion, Wallace Golden, yeah. Al, what's up? Brother Ron West, Zoza, Binu Blackwind, all of my all the brothers and sisters from the interim government. You know, we gonna have that conversation. It was Khalil Amani is the name of the federal informant that took down Yahweh Ben Yahweh and spread that info about Africa Mbada to Star, and then Star K Slay and them, and then that made it to Sarnetta. That's why Star was over there at Sarnetta during that time frame. Abazu Ankamun. And yo, so before we go, you already know, about who I shook, which is peace and unconditional love. Salam alaikum with magic, which is transliterated as the deity in me greets the deity in you. And I want to thank y'all for joining me, because there is no time. So when you take your time for one thing, everything you do, you take your time for one thing to give it to another. And I appreciate you giving your time to me. So like I would say on a regular basis, it's our time, family. If not now, then when? If not this, then what? And if not us, then who? That's that, man. Let's just take this thing over. Anybody got any questions for me? Holler at me, farrahrising@gmail.com. It's my email. You can catch me all over the place. I probably got my phone number all over the goddamn world too, because I be, and don't feel no kind of way, but go to naturatureherbs.com, check out them herbs. I got that Jed Pillar Rejuvenated, that Black Jedi for the brothers. But you know what I'm saying? Cosmic Shop music over there, Farrah Rising. And if y'all feeling your heart, do a free will offering, cent, 5 cent, 10 cent dollar, cash at Farrah Rising. I appreciate y'all. Love to love you. Peace and blessings of the Most High, the balance, omniverses, multiverses, tri-verses, dual verses, and universes be upon you all. A shot and I shot of the God. Y'all be safe. And remember, we all in this together. All right? Wadu, peace and blessings. I'm out. Bum, bum, bum.